point of this bill is a very specific and narrow bill that is simply to prevent the state and local governments from contracting with ICE for the purposes of civil immigration detention.
A lot of people don't understand that. They think that the government is in charge of these immigrant detention centers, but in fact, they're run by these huge private corporations.
After the election, stock prices for private prison companies like Geo Group and CoreCivic soared, with their CEOs each bragging to investors about how much money they were going to make.
The Geo Group was built for this unique moment in our country's history and the opportunities that it will bring.
I've worked at CoreCivic for 32 years, and this is truly one of the most exciting periods in my career with the company.
So there are 3 county detention centers in New Mexico that are currently have a contract with ICE. So there are the one in Torrance County, the one in Cibola County, and the one in Otero County. All 3 of those contracts are local government contracts.
And when we were hearing the stories of the folks who had been detained at Torrance County, at Cibola, at Otero, we heard terrifying stories of really bad treatment.
En Torrance estaba horrible la comida. Nos daban sándwich, el agua limitada, como algunas 8 onzas de agua. Y luego aparte de eso, de que los llevan y los traen, había muchos que ya traían de Georgia, todos esos, ya su mente ya estaban trastornada. Había haitianos, había de diferentes partes del mundo, pero ya como que todos ya con una mentalidad de aquí vamos a morir. Y todos se ponen a decir que perdimos nuestros derechos. Es traumático. Eso es traumático.
CoreCivic has repeatedly denied allegations of mistreatment at both the Cibola and Torrance County facilities, but New Mexico's congressional leaders are not buying it.
Torrance County failed their audit based on several PREA violations that happened. I've been able to go to the Torrance County Detention Center, and I've witnessed men with serious injuries talking about alleged abuse that they faced from guards in detention.
When I left my country, I was 20. I came here with my parents, just my father. We trying to ask for asylum. So he was being in detention with me in ICE facility for 1 year. Sometimes we don't have any choice. So we came here for, all of the dreams for, they're gonna hug me, they're gonna protect me, support me. So then you came here and you are in lockup. Right now I'm 23 years old. I'm from Iran. I just have my father and he's in detention, and my mom and sisters, they are fighting for their life. It's the life. 3 years now, nobody know that. You know tomorrow what's gonna happen? No.
We've seen so many issues on the ground that have just caused such an alarm and has shocked the conscience of many communities across the country. And we know that it's going to take every single one of us in New Mexico to hold the line and to emphasize the importance of passing the Immigrant Safety Act, because we need these protections to ensure that our communities feel safe and that we make sure that we honor the fact that our immigrant community is integral to New Mexico.
I've already done all the screening for our visit tomorrow, but now I just have to print everybody's case statuses basically. So I'm a paralegal with the deportation defense team, which means I assist our attorneys with preparing and then effectuating different case types. We provide legal services, particularly at the Cibola County Correctional Center, which is one of our 3 privately run detention centers that houses ICE detainees here in New Mexico. One of the most common issues that we're seeing when we're trying to provide legal services for folks is that they're so far from their communities that we don't have access to any previous immigration paperwork. It's hard for them to access documents like their proof of presence, haven't been here in the United States. Folks are not able to contact their families oftentimes, and so we're acting as the mediary in between and being the communicators for folks
because the conditions at the facility are so tough and hard on somebody's physical and mental state. And so a lot of folks that we're meeting with, even though they may eventually have a pathway to relief, they are preemptively requesting their removal and being sent away from their families because they are not receiving the care that they need.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Barbara Schroeder. I'm a volunteer with the New Mexico Immigrant Law Center. And I'd like to read the testimony of a man named Tale, who was detained at TCD up until late last year. I have no support from anyone, and they pay me $3 a day to work here. Several colleagues haven't been paid for weeks. When they don't pay me on time, I can't call my wife. I was separated from my wife and child at the border. So, commissioners, I urge you to vote to not extend the contract with ICE. Thank you.
This is really a money-making situation. I think for some people, right, they believe that people are detained on the basis of what they have done, right? But immigrant detention is actually people are detained on the basis of how much money that individual is going to bring in.
Right now is that our local governments have a considerable amount of power in deciding and determining ICE's amount of impact here in our communities. At the Torrance County Commission, the commissioners voted to re-extend the contract with the Torrance County Detention Facility, but that means that they can also vote to not extend. So you can be contacting your local government officials, that can be your state legislators, and also your county commissioners who have a say in the experiences here in the detention facilities. We'd love to hear from you.
The Immigrant Safety Act, HB 9, will be introduced again at the legislative session for 2026. Thanks to all of the community and all of the leaders and legislators who have been working so hard to emphasize the importance of this bill. We came very, very close to passing it this last legislative session. And I really feel in my core that based on what is happening and what we've seen happening across the country, that there's a sense of urgency that this is one of the most critical bills to pass in the legislative session, and that with everyone's support, we can pass the Immigrant Safety Act HB 9 in 2026.